over, Max. Over here. There you go. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today is March 19th, I want to say. Yep, March 19th. I've been wanting to post this video before March 18th, because that did not happen. That's okay. Welcome back to my channel. I had to leave the channel because I was taking the videos on my phone, but then my storage on my phone ran out, like, I don't know, somehow it wouldn't let me do anything unless it, like, deleted everything and then took my video and then posted the video and then re-downloaded everything. So that was just a pain in the butt, and I was like, I cannot do this unless I get a camera. So I finally got a camera. So yesterday's date was kind of an important date for my family. Oh, excuse me, sorry. March 18th of 2007 was a pretty scary day for my family. Most of my family knows what happened, and then my friends who were there for me during that time know, but a lot of my friends that just became friends with me only know a little bit about it. So I'm going to take the time to explain, since March 18th of 2007, yesterday, marks 12 years. So, yeah, that's crazy. March 18th of 2007, my house burned down. I was 10, my brother was 12, and my sister was 16. With going through that as a 4th grader, which my niece is 10 years old now, I couldn't even imagine, being able to understand, or having her understand that as a 10-year-old. That's crazy. And you go through, at 10 years old, you have, those fire safety classes that come to the school and teach you all about everything, and it's you learn about it, and you learn about your escape route, you learn about what to do, but you never thought that you would be the one to go through it. It's always been what if, yeah, it's something that you don't hear about a whole lot. Excuse me. I woke up on that date, very frantic and crazy. I thought I was dreaming. So we'll go back to the night before, which was St. Patrick's Day. We had all just gotten home from celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and of course it was a school night, so we had to go to bed at a decentable time and everything. Well, at that time we had a big dog. It was a St. Bernard, and we named him Scooter. And he was acting really weird that night, but we had thought it was because we hadn't been home, and you know how dogs get, if you're not home, they get really hyper and excited to see you and want to be up your butt the whole entire time. Well, so that's how he was acting. So my mom was just like, okay, well, he won't settle down. He goes in and out, whatever. He's running around the house being crazy. My mom kind of was like, okay, well, you're not settling down, so you're going to sleep out in the living room tonight. So she closed the door so he couldn't come into her room. And I'm not 100% on the times, but I do believe it was around 12 o'clock on 12 a.m. on March 18th, so just March 18th. And he had ran into the door of my mom's bedroom and knocked down the door. Well, she woke up and smelled the smoke, and my sister and my brother's room was on the other side of the house. So they went to get them first, and they were right next to this wood stove that we had, where we put wood into it to have a fire. And so she went and got them first, because if the fire had gotten to that, then it would be an explosion type thing. So she went and got them first. She didn't know where the smoke or anything was coming from, so she went and got them first. And as they were coming back through down like this hallway thing that we had, which my bedroom was like on the other side of the hallway, I heard everyone, and I had gotten up and I ran out, and my bedroom was off the kitchen, so I ran into the kitchen and out to the hallway, and my dad was the last one. Like, it went my siblings, then my mom, and then my dad. And so all I saw was my dad, and my dad was like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. And it was like all I could see was a white cloud of smoke. And then we had went out to the van, and we stayed in the van as our house was like burning down, with my 3 siblings, well, my 2 siblings and I and our dog were all in the van, and my parents went back into the house as it was burning down. They had grabbed everything that they could possibly think of because, you know, certain things are important. Like, my sister and my dad both wore glasses at the time, so they had to go in and get glasses or else they wouldn't be able to see. They grabbed wallets because they needed IDs and money and things like that. My mom had grabbed a basket of clothes because all we had on was like, that's it, that's all we had. I had on probably, I do believe, a nightgown. And so my mom grabbed this basket of clothes that she hadn't folded yet, brought that out, and then like my dad, he was just grabbing, I think he was just in a state of mind of, oh my gosh, what's going on? So he didn't really think of what he was getting. So he had pulled out our TV, our flat screen TV, and our TV stand with like a bunch of video games that we had. We had like the GameCube and Nintendo 64, those kind of things, and he had grabbed the whole TV stand and like pushed it out on the porch along with the TV. And he had grabbed his deer heads that were hanging on the wall and had grabbed those off the wall and put them on the porch. Like, they were just dragging everything out on the porch that they possibly could get. And to back up the story a little bit, I kind of forgot a few little details out of there. We had a phone in the garage, thankfully, that we had called 911 on. And then when my mom woke up and saw the smoke, our smoke alarms had not went off at all until we went out of the house. Then we started hearing them going off. So our smoke alarms are a very important thing for us. Like, we check them annually because for some reason ours for our house fire did not wake us up. Like, they didn't go off. Luckily, our dog was there to save us because we wouldn't have known that it was going off until it probably would have been too late. So then, my parents were dragging everything out of the house while the ambulance were on the way. And we live like 5 minutes away from town, so we could hear the sirens coming. When they got here, a really strange thing is that they came to our house fire with no water. They had absolutely no water. So they sat in lawn chairs with water bottles and watched our house burn down. I'm dead serious. I'm telling you the honest truth. That is what happened. And we still have like imprints in our yard every so often when the weather changes and like spring when the grass is just growing again. That's when you can see imprints of like everything that was in our yard from that night. It's crazy. So that was kind of like, really, who does that? So as we all were just standing in the yard watching our house burn down and the ambulance or the fire trucks were not doing anything, it was kind of like depressing. So at that time, I was 10 years old and I had still slept with stuffed animals and dollies and still played with all that. Well, at 3 years old, my dad had gotten me a doll that when he put her hands together, she said a prayer, and he picked it out on his own and everything. So that was very special to me. And I was like in love with it because it was something that my dad had picked out, and he never picks out anything by himself. Like my mom always picks out everything. So I had gotten that for Christmas when I was 3. And ever since my house burnt down, my mom had promised me that she was going to get me that doll again. Because on the night of the house fire, I had asked where she was, and my mom had said that she did not make it. Like, she threw her away before I could even see her because I would have been so, like, depressed about it, and I was already depressed enough about it, so. And then this year for Christmas, my mother had gotten me the exact same doll that has been in that house fire. I could not believe it. I was so shocked that that had happened. I started crying on Christmas, and this is the prayer that she says. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. Guide and guard me through the night, and wake me with the morning's light. Amen. So, when I was 3, my parents had gotten me a doll, just like this one. And she had finally found it. 12 years later, after I had it gone, she had finally found it. I was like, oh my gosh. My dolly was a little different. Of course, she had the blonde hair and everything, but she had a plain white dress with like lace on it and like lacy flowers and stuff on it. Then she had silky shoes, and I think that's about it. That was different from this, but it's like exactly the same. Like, I remember this face, and this face is exactly the same of my other doll. So I was like, oh my gosh. So this year has just brought up so many emotions for me, especially yesterday. Getting this doll and then celebrating the 12-year anniversary of it. It's just crazy. So when our house burned down, we went and stayed with family, and we bounced around to family because we didn't want to stay too long at someone's house because it was a lot. We were a family of 5 already, and everyone that we stayed with had kids already and a family too, so it was a lot to stay at someone's house for so long. So we bounced between my dad's sister and my mom's sister, so we bounced between them two. And it was a total of 5 months until we got our new house, until we could move into our new house. So that was a pretty long time. American Red Cross did some things for us that were over the top amazing that they did for us. We greatly appreciate it. They put us in a hotel for a weekend, so we got to go and like actually get away from everything and pretend that it never happened for a couple days. They gave us $500 for necessities, so we could go get clothes and toothbrushes, deodorant, those kinds of things that we didn't have. And then they gave us food vouchers, which we were able to go to like a restaurant and get food for free. So that was really nice. That I greatly appreciate that. That was so cool. So amazing. I can't believe it. Then for us to get into this house that I am living in right now, still in it from 12 years ago, our city did a great thing for us, and I couldn't be more happier for our community. It was just great. They had cans all around town with our information on it, with our story on it and everything, and raised so much money for us that we were able to, oh my gosh, excuse me, that we were able to buy this house and fix it up. When we got this house, the ceilings in our hallway were coming down. The walls had no insulation, and pretty much like all the floors and everything needed to be redone. Like this house took a complete flip in 5 months, which that's impressive. Um, so we moved into this house on September 1st, right before my 11th birthday on September 16th. That was the goal to do, was to get me into this house before my birthday. It was crazy. I mean, going back and thinking about it is just nuts. And then in the newspaper article, it says St. Bernard saves family because we would not be here today if it wasn't for our dog. Now, some of you may ask where that dog is today. After we moved into this house, our St. Bernard became very protective of us. Like, very, very protective. Anytime anybody would knock, and he wouldn't do this before the house fire, so we were very like, what's going on? Anytime someone would knock or come in, he would get really aggressive to them. He would try nipping at them and barking at them and things like that. And it was like, we can't have this dog if he's going to do this. So we ended up giving it to, we ended up taking it to an animal shelter, I do believe. And an old lady actually adopted him, or a married couple or something adopted him. And they let us know that he was actually the ring bearer in their wedding, which was so cool. I was so happy to know that. So he is living a happy life, and he did a great thing. So that was pretty crazy, and to know how far we've come from 12 years, like, that's crazy. And I'm so proud and thankful for the family and friends that were there. I was in 4th grade and I was falling asleep on my desk, and teachers would wake me up and ask me if I was okay, and I would say yes. But deep inside, I wasn't getting any sleep, like knowing that I have to start my whole life over again. I don't have anything that I had for 10 years. I mean, that's crazy. And everything that you've grown up in this house, and everyone always says, oh, I want to go visit the house I grew up in. I can't do that. I don't have it anymore, which is really sad. But I have the memories, and I have the pictures, and some of my friends that I had before the house fire remember it too, and it's like, that house was like something in my family that was really important. And you wouldn't think that because it's just a house, but when you had something like this and you move to a different house, you take everything with you. This, we moved and we didn't have anything, so it was starting completely over again. Like, all the memories, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Our baby books, I had a Winnie the Pooh baby book with a bunch of baby pictures in it. I no longer have. My great-grandmother, who passed away a couple years before this house fire, gave me a Cinderella porcelain doll. I don't have that anymore. Like, those are things that you wish you could take with you when you move, and I don't have those sentimental things anymore. How our house fire started was the wood stove that we had, the pipe between the wall and the wood stove to let the smoke out of the house broke. So all the smoke was clogging up the chimney, or the pipe between the wall and the chimney had broke. So all of it was like in the wall and the chimney, and it had started a fire. Actually, outside of our house, like outside the wall, it had started a fire, and then it had catch the house on fire. Now they make pipes that don't break, that are supposed to be resistant to that, so I don't think the likelihood of that happening would happen. It was a freak accident in our case. I mean, whoever says the pipe broke, you know? And you always get your wood stove checked to make sure everything's running good, blah blah blah, but they can't really check the pipe that's in the wall. So you just assume that it's doing what it's supposed to. So that is how our house had burned down. And also in our house, we had, I don't know, these are like ancient, so I don't know if any of you guys are going to know what I'm talking about, but we had one of these like electric heater thingies that are hooked to the wall, and they had like the flames come up when it gets really cold in your house. It automatically comes on, like, type thing. I don't know what to call it. It's already connected to the wall anyway, and the pipes, or you see the flames flicker up when it gets cold in your house. And that was on the other side of my bedroom. So when the fire had hit my bedroom, there was nothing left in my house, or in my bedroom. My bedroom was completely gone. Everything in it was gone because the fire had hit that, and it's electric, so it went, and I mean, in the back of our house, we had some things, like the laundry room was in the way back of our house, so there was some things in there that were savable, but a lot of it was water damaged also. So my room and my sister's room, because she was right next to the wood stove, and I was right next to the electric stove. So our two rooms were like completely gone. There was nothing in them that you could imagine. So I just wanted to tell everyone my story and tell everyone what happened, since this date had just passed, and it's 12 years for us, and that's crazy. And we live like it's just another day. I would have posted this yesterday, but I was really sick. I was like throwing up. So yeah, I don't know if this will be on today or tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the little story time. And if you have any questions about the house fire or anything in general, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Bye guys.